Okay, so not a fancy new one here either. Wall was our last one yesterday. That charge took us all around into the camping, overnight AC while we slept in the car, then around the Badlands outer loop and then the North Unit loop. So got a good deal out of that. I'm not sure what the drive info is for there, but the AC got around 167 miles and we had 24 left, so kind of in your 190, and that's with the AC being on overnight, using about 10-15%, something like that. So that's what explains the poor miles per kilowatt hour, even though we were going quite slowly around some of the Badlands Loop. And this, again, just first time starting up. The only one we've had a problem with was Huber Heights in Ohio. There was a couple of stations offline in the previous one in Ohio, Cambridge, but for the most part, EA, old or new, has worked really well for us. A couple of other charges at Ford stations, which were very good. We had that one Pilot Flying J, which was somewhere around here, south of Pittsburgh, which was great as well. So all the stops have been good, mostly Electrify America for obvious reasons, with us being on their complimentary charging for the next final 6 months. They've all started up, they've all delivered, if not peak power, very close to it, and the car has been ready before we were. So same will be true here, I'm sure, as we grab a few groceries for the next camping stop and a few other suppliers. And just enough time to squeeze into the 30 minutes of free juice. We've got about 28 miles to the campsite and a little bit of overnight plus some driving around, and then we have a hotel the following day on Thursday, so that has charging, no problem there. Should be enough to keep us going. 63.5 kilowatt hours, 30 minutes on the dot, the better part of 80% in 30 minutes. So one thing we will get with the battery pack, obviously, is that if we keep on using it, it will be lower capacity. So we're at 24% now. It was last charged at the electrical hookup in Iowa. So we've used that overnight, cooking at the Badlands and baking cups of coffee and charging devices en route to the Black Hills National Forest here. And now we're at another campsite and we're low, so this is where the IONIQ 5 will come in with the V2L. Pop it into the V2L there, charge it up to full, and then the power from that comes over to this. But we'll use it for cooking first, see how much we can get out of that, and then it will need to be plugged into the car and we'll see how much it drains from the main pack. So still hanging in there after nice taco dinner. Only cooking some meat, so nothing too long, maybe 5-10 minutes tops. But it's done a couple of days, done well. We'll see what it takes off the car. the other V12 screen, essentially saying the same thing as this one. 1.5 kilowatt draw. Just shows you a slightly longer graphic and does mention this minimum charge in orange at 20%. If we were way lower, that was where it would shut off, but we are high up into the pack, and that battery pack's about 30% already, and it hasn't taken a percentage off my high voltage pack charge just yet. So we're doing fine. It makes sense when you think about it. It's a 77.4 kilowatt hour pack, nominal. Really isn't going to make any difference here. If we're at a really low state of charge and we had to drive a distance to get to the charger, I might think about it, but this is going to do all our driving today, and the hotel that we have tonight has charging, so we'll be good to go back to 100% overnight. This is just the kind of flip case of using this energy storage to take it from the car, because that has the most, and moving it across to the table area, which is, you know, just making it a bit more convenient to move this power to where it's needed.
country length. So to appease everybody and make sure everything's safe and everything was going our way, it's a slow-going job because, number one, everybody gives us a lot of heat about, well, it only took them 14 years over there. And say, yeah, but it's not done. Well, why is it taking you 75? Well, because this thing's over 500 feet tall, 600 feet from the back to the front, and it's a three-dimensional carving all the way around. Compare that to Mount Rushmore, it's a one-dimensional carving. Okay? The second thing is, you got to remember when Korchak came out here and started working up there, he didn't have any mechanized tools or equipment. He just had an old steel and a sledgehammer. Get you one and go pound a 12-inch hole in one of those pieces of rock and see how long it takes you to do it. Then when you get
Alright, Custer, South Dakota. That was since Rapid City, I think. So we did most of the Custer State Park, Mount Rushmore, a bunch of sites around here, the Crazy Horse Memorial, and back to the hotel in Custer, which is the Bavarian Inn. Very well recommended, really lovely place. But we're at 31%, we charged up to about 93% I think in Rapid City, so good, plenty of buffer there and enough to charge up here and get us on our way. Let's put it up to 100, see how that changes our draw. 6.3 max and 9 hours to full, so that plus our trip tonight will mean we have a good base for traveling on tomorrow. Destination charging to 100%, and another day heading out of South Dakota now into Montana, maybe Idaho, who knows. All I know is it's away from the Black Hills and into some mountains. Comes up as an ATM, but this is actually a ready charger, which is on the western tip of South Dakota in Spearfish. I think it's the last city as far as I could tell on this stretch of I-90. It is not really to charge out of necessity. I think we'll go on to the next Electrify America in Gillette. But this one has reports of being down, like the one in Murdo in the center of South Dakota. So I thought I'd take a look. It's on the Ready Charge network and just see if we can charge or not. So it says available. Let's see. Clip's a bit screwed, as you can see there. That's been knocked out of place. That may be a problem. Just see what it says. Tap payment card. Let's do that. Sounds vaguely positive. Maybe it just gets to the clocking screen and screws it up. doesn't like the connection there. So I'm not going to play around for ages here. I just wanted to kind of see what's what. Maybe that broken handle is the issue. But it does give you an indication on the screen that it could go, but it doesn't seem to like it that way. Report that to Ready Charge, but it's one of these things where these free wires, I don't know what the maintenance is looking like on these now, because that company is in some difficulty. Until they get that sorted, I don't know that it's going to be an option for many people. But in any case, as I say, we're not stopping here because we need it so much as just to out of interest to see if that would work. Maybe that's why people have been reporting the CHAdeMO handle okay. Looking a bit sad for free wire on this stretch of the South Dakota I-90. Gillette, Wyoming, Kroger Smiths, as has become normal now. We've seen nobody at these, but two. It's boiling hot, so let's jump right back in and just watch it go to work. 22 minutes to 80% from 12. Pretty close to the 20 we kind of expect. You can see the efficiency taking a bit of a hit there because of the higher speeds. You go up to 75 out of some of Dakota, South Dakota, and then just a little bit above 80 miles per hour, although it's flat for the most part. So this is actually where we start to have a little bit of fun with the distances. I knew there was one more section where it was going to be a bridge too far for EA. This is the gap Gillette, Wyoming and Billings, Montana, which is 230 miles, which is pushing it on a normal day, let alone when it's 100 degrees and 80 miles an hour. So you have this little bump stop in the middle, one CPE 250. There's also some backup L2 plugs here. So that's at a Jeep dealership. Maybe there's a dinner place there as well. You can check the app, of course, and see what kind of slim pickings we've got for DC fast charging here. ChargePoint's nothing except this one, which is busy right now, but you know, that's 2 hours away, so 122 kilowatts now that it's done its little siesta. We've been charging more than 20 minutes. I'll let it go a bit higher because obviously another 5 minutes at 120 odd kilowatts is better than 5 minutes at the Jeep dealership at 50 or 60 kilowatts. Almost out of Wyoming, having only been in it for an hour or so already. A couple more hours driving and then that'll be that. A desire to get to Washington and hit this ultimate target of the most northwestern point at Cape Flattery, so we're closing in on that. And what have we had so far? It's been a while since I looked at this. Almost 2,800 miles, so it's a big trip, but we're doing good. At 85%, I'll stop that up. 24 minutes charging. On we go. Decent little stop. If you need camping supplies, that would be great. I don't really want to get them and then leave them in the hot car for that long, so we'll see about that at the next stop. But the next one is 107 miles with 188 on the GOM, even at these high speeds. Let's move on. There's exactly 101 miles to the destination. It's worth noting as well, the thing where you've got to start thinking a little bit at temperatures like this about the battery conditioning after the fact, because it still needs to use energy to send to battery care. So you can see there the most right number is 1.84 kilowatts and 5%. That's just of this drive so far, but it's going to send more energy to that to cool the pack down. It's going to also work a bit harder on climate. That's usually we'd see climate down in the 1s and 2s. It's closer to 3-4 kilowatts when it's up at 100 degrees and above, as it is right now, or proving me wrong by going down to 99, but as near as makes no difference. So just a little more energy going to the cooling systems, both for the battery and for the human. Just have to be aware of it, that whatever you get from your charge session will be eaten into for the first 5 or 10 minutes after you leave when it's hot to cool the pack. Onward to central northern Wyoming. Okay, so the first delay, or waiting for a charger at least, on the trip so far, which isn't bad considering we've gone about 3,000 miles, at the Jeep dealership in Sheridan. And you can see it's in use right now with the XC40 recharge. Thankfully, it being a dealer, it does have a place I can put myself on the charger and wait patiently. But this is one of those where this would be a good place to have a charger for a NEVI funding, seeing as Wyoming is dragging its heels and saying, you know, that it doesn't really need them, the EV adoption isn't that great. Well, people do come to your town, people do stop through, and maybe they would go to the businesses if you put those NEVI funds to work. But as it stands here, we're hanging out, watching the XC40 recharge owner charge up, and then we'll use this to get whatever mileage we need to go on to Montana. Away goes the XC40 recharge, and in we plug. Only 50 kilowatts as well, so you can see why it drags a little bit. But glad it's here, because otherwise this would be our stop for the night. See, it's close to 90 though. Right there is a gas station just up on the hill. 47 minutes to 80%. I only need 120 odd miles. It's getting on to dinner time, so I could do that. All in all, this is where you start to drag a little bit and lose some time, definitely, compared to what I did confirm. There is a Tesla supercharger down into town, so about 2 miles away, I guess. That's a V2, so that wouldn't do anyone any good except a Tesla, and it's only a 4 stall, so you can kind of see the, even with Tesla, they're not thinking this is a priority kind of stop. You've got Yellowstone within kind of driving distance. You start to touch the edges at around 100 miles. Need more like 150, 175 to get into the park proper, but I'm sure there's accommodation on the outside, plus you get camping and all that good stuff, so you can just charge up overnight and then start from full, which will get you what you need to get. But we're definitely looking at a solid 120 odd miles here, I think. I've done my own planning. I think I will probably walk up to that gas station, see what I can find. Okay, so that wasn't so bad at all. Kind of reminds me of the old days with the Bolt, finding the meal breaks and the local businesses to while away the charge time. Not something I want to do on the whole trip, of course. Don't think I would have made it this far without all the fast charging in Electrify America, but 1 in every 10 or 20 stops can be a 50 kilowatt, and that won't be a problem. So thank you to the good folks at Sheridan Motors for putting one of these in. Okay, so they do have an overstay fee here of $5 once you $5 an hour, I think, once you go into an hour. So you don't want to be here for that long. I don't think anyone really does anyway, even at a dealership, even if it's nice and with a thing up the road. So we're about to hit 80% here. Complete 50 minutes exactly. Just confirming, around $15, $14.82, 37 cents per kilowatt hour. Didn't hit the time issue, and we can head on to I-90 and Montana. Okay, Electrify America, Billings, Montana. Right on the 10%. And with some nice new hardware to test, 10 to 80% times. Hungry? We go. There we go. So temperature here is the kind of question mark, but already up to the races. Usually starts kind of mid hundreds, somewhere between 150, 180, 90, and then it goes to work. So back down to that 22 minutes. Wouldn't be surprised if this hits somewhere near 20 minutes to 80%. Bozeman, Butte, and Missoula. So pretty well covered. This looks like a decent sized gap. We can see them kind of pinging us all the way across to Washington State now. So that's a fair old trek. You've got a bit of Idaho in there, so this one's in Idaho. And in any case, we may mix it up along the way, but you can see now we kind of hit that I-90 route where there's ample coverage, and Electrify America's gone to work a lot on those northern states across the route. A quick 15-minute shop and restroom break for some supplies for the morning, and we're up to 82%, solid enough. Quick look around the site before we unplug. Got the Target in the background, obviously. The other thing is a party shop, so that's not much use. There's a McDonald's right across the road, easy to get to. Pizza restaurant and pub over in the distance. Convenience store right across the road, although it could get busy at peak times. And what else is there? Baskin-Robbins. So there's a good mix of stuff here. Groceries in Target are limited, but you got stuff you can use. Walmart spaces, they're miles away from pretty much anything. Starbucks across the road as well to go on the way in, or you can place your mobile order and grab it on the way out. So a bunch of stuff. It's a good spot. Nice station, only 4, but given the location and the EV adoption in the area, it probably makes some sense. And this is fully 64 cents a kilowatt hour area now, so definitely enjoying the free plan at that pricing. Would have been a solid $40 off plan.
McDowell said. Jim clicked twice again.